This episode is brought to you by Sable International, building futures beyond borders.
Today on
getting your South African police clearance, your apostille certificate, your unabridged records. Apostille handles all of that on your behalf. They apply, follow up, and courier everything directly to you, wherever in the world you are. No queues, no government buildings. All the details are in the description below. Click through and get your documents sorted.
the Relocated South African podcast, I'm joined by Martiens Bekker, all the way from Norway. Welcome, Martiens. Where are you actually talking to me from?
Ja, maar dankie Jan vir die uitnodiging. Ja, ons bly in ons wat sal ons nou sê ons
Engels.
Oh. Okay, thank you very much for the invite. I went into automatic mode there. It took you a while to realize as well, but anyway. Well, for your listeners, there's a little bit of Afrikaans, although I think most of them speak it anyway. Yeah, thank you very much. We live in our county, if you can call it that, is called Mjønøy, and the area is Telemark. So if you look at Norway, the southern part of Norway, we're kind of in the middle of the southern part. So everything is about four hours away from us. So that's where we are, in the mountains.
So it's quite platteland.
No, it's mountains. Yeah, this is where not too far from us. It's where the slalom ski style started, and they actually had a Winter Olympics there as well.
Absolutely, in Lillehammer. Are you close to Lillehammer?
Yeah, Lillehammer is more to the north. Yeah, a little bit more north. We are the place where they had the Winter Olympics is called Morgedal.
Okay.
We've got within 40 minutes drive. We've got about 3 ski resorts.
Okay.
The furthest one is about 40 minutes.
And are you guys skiers?
I'm a absolute acrobatic skier. Yeah.
Oh wow!
I just no, I mean that in a bad way. I do stunts that nobody's seen ever before. I can ice skate. No, but not cry enough. My wife can and my boys can, but I think I lied about my weight because your weight needs to be right, for the skis.
So you're like me. I'm not a skier. I'm a faller. It's awesome. So, Martiens, where are you from originally, and when did you leave South Africa?
Yes, so I was born in Armula. 1967, lifetime ago.
Were you born in
1967? Yeah, yeah. My late father was a teacher at I can't remember the school. It's not. I think it was at Van der Merwe. But I was so small. He passed away in 1971, so I can't really remember anything. But he and his brothers and one sister were all Springbok athletes. So everybody knew about. My wife just arrived. Everybody knew about him, but I can't remember. I remember very little. But we moved after he passed away. We moved to Pretoria. Later, when I was standard 8, it was 1983. We moved up to Naboomspruit, which was just amazing. Going to live there. And then, I was in the police force, and then I went to study forestry management, and then I left South Africa. I went to Israel for a bit, for less than a year, and then came back, and this way, that way. My wife, my previous wife and I, then we had a son. Then she unfortunately left, so it was just me and my son. He was still young, and then I met my present wife, and she had a son, so we got together. And my wife is from Cape Town, which I always say is not really part of South Africa, but anyway.
True.
They were actually, their family were visser, real Afrikaans. And their farm, at that point, I lived in a small town called Philadelphia, outside. It's not really a town, outside Cape Town. I was the self-appointed mayor there, and that's how and then we met. And at some point, she had a little business. She was in the UK because she's her mother is British, father South African.
Okay.
So she was in the UK. She and her husband got separated, and then she later came back to South Africa with her son. And she was an outbuy. She had a little business there, a plant nursery thing, landscaping. So I made sculptures, big things at Turn and Win and stuff like that. And so that's how we met. And then I had a coffee shop with a woman. Her father was also a backer, but she was married, Annalette Aspling. She got the pepper tree. We started that, and we met. And then at some point, we just, I always felt South Africa was, I don't know, it's going sideways. Well, not even sideways. It was going down. So we thought, well, let's try it, because she's got a British passport. Let's move to the UK. So we left in 2009 and moved to Cornwall in the UK. We stayed there for a while. We had a coffee shop there, and I was in the Coast Guard cliff rescue team, and I did my art and did exhibitions. Did really well, if I must say so myself. It was incredible. But then we started to see, things. It's kind of like the British children go from 10 to 18. It's like they lose that middle part. And even though it was a small town called Port Isaac, there was probably 10 pubs and 100 meters, which is not the biggest problem. There was a little bit more other stuff that was being sniffed and, that kind of stuff. And we just saw this and we thought, no, we don't want our boys to go through this, like, just suddenly become this confused adults, and then by accident. We were thinking Zambia or Scotland or something like that, by accident, my wife met an old friend, and she was involved in the Norwegian. He had a farm, a little sawmill, and then he found out I was involved in forestry. He invited us over to start a small sawmill business, which we can talk about that later. Maybe that didn't work out so well, but that anybody that has moved, you know yourself, all the paperwork and all the hoops you've got to jump through. By the time we got into Norway, which is very difficult, we couldn't go back because I had a residence visa, but I had to give that up to be in Norway. And then our boys then at school, started school, very proud of them. They got on a bus and went to the school where people speak Norwegian. The youngest one, he just thought this is a kind of extension of Afrikaans or something. He picked the language up very quickly. The oldest one took a little bit, but they both now, they speak Norwegian fluently. So and by that time, when this business opportunity didn't materialize, and it's not because figures and numbers didn't work out. The guy who invited us, we found out he's just into the bottle, maybe some other stuff. So it just didn't work out. Then we realized, well, we are here. So the school principal at that time, he was adamant that we must stay and helped us. And we rented the house and then we bought the house. And this is where we are at the moment.
That's such an interesting story. So which year was this now? You left...
we left 2009 South Africa, and we came over to Norway in 2014.
So you were 5 years in the UK. And in that time, did you qualify for a British passport?
8 years.
Oh, sorry, 8 years.
No, in the UK, but I don't know if they've changed it, but if you wanted to move to the UK, you want to marry a British citizen, you had to apply from your home country. So my wife first had to go over to the UK to get an address, because you have to have an address in the UK, but you have to apply from your own country. So then we went over thinking, we're going to set things up and then go back to South Africa, do the applications, and move on from there. But by the time we've done all that, that's a lot of money. And then I found a court case where if you are a member of the English Church of England, you don't have to go back to your home country. You can. So I found this court case that I was a detective in the police. That helped. So this guy took the Home Office to court for discrimination because everybody else must do it, except if you're a member of the Church of England. So I think Home Office, when we won this case, I think Home Office put my file, next to Osama bin Laden.
Persona non grata.
Yeah, every time I had to renew my license, you had to stay there 10 years, then you can apply for citizenship. They changed the criteria of my visa. But you have to be at 10 years on a consecutive visa. Even the last one, I was the legal responsible person for my stepson, which I'm not. But it was on my visa. So it was very weird, very strange. Because you have your visa, there's something linked to your visa for those 4 years. The criteria why you're there, why you're allowed to be there. And the last one they issued me was that I'm the I can't remember the exact wording, but like the legal responsible person for my wife's son, which I wasn't. And so I didn't have 10 years consecutive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now do you... Sorry?
No. Yes, Norway. I became a Norwegian citizen last year, June. So,
that makes life a lot easier. But do you speak the language?
not as good as I want to, but I can help myself. I can...
Enough for their criteria to become a citizen.
Oh, yeah, you had to do the citizen test, the background. You have to do a little test, which is to just click some buttons, blocks, and then you have to do a language speaking test, which I did with a Ukrainian woman, and all they really want to. I knew the guys. It's just a very small town we have. I knew the two what do you call them, judges or whatever, and they basically just want to see that you're trying, kind of like, but still make sense.
Yeah.
So my wife finds it very difficult. She wants to interrupt me, but she can't.
She's welcome. But if I just thinking back now, it's actually quite an interesting position to be in, to be able to ask you about moving to two different countries. What was harder, moving to the UK or moving to Norway?
Are you talking about how it felt, or the actual doing it? The paperwork.
No. I'm just saying, in terms of the whole experience, what was a better experience?
For me, it was in the beginning an adventure. It was both times. It was kind of like, go and see another part of the world. But of course, and we're probably going to talk about it a little bit later. There's a lot of other things that you don't at that point you don't think about, like family that you're leaving behind. But for me, it was I was excited, new experience. The paperwork was a nightmare.
And it's a repetition of paperwork because you had to do it in the UK and again.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and we came over to my wife is sending me notes now. We came when it was still Brexit. Yeah.
Okay, before
Brexit. It
Brexit.
was still Brexit. So my wife could come to Norway under the EEA, the European Economic Area Agreement, because Norway is not, strictly speaking, EU. They've got an economic area agreement. So she could do it because she's a British citizen. That made it easier for us to come over.
Okay, of course.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, for any other South African, if any South African tells me, listen, I want to move to Norway, I would say to them, find another country. Yeah. Find somewhere where they speak English, at least.
Well, although the two people that I've spoken to The South Africans are very happy. That one, actually, they lived in Malaysia before they moved to Norway, so the cold was a bit of a shock. And the other couple, they just love living in Norway. They really are happy.
Well, of course, Norway's it's got its benefits. I don't know where the key is of our house. When we bought it, we had a key, but then that key got misplaced. Then I changed the lock after about 4 years, and now I don't know where that key is. We never locked the house.
Yeah, that's a huge benefit.
Yes, so you have those benefits. It's safe. People are nice. Yeah, they're nice. Medical is good. It's really good. But it's when people want to move to a country, like maybe any country, find out how the tax system works. Because they don't really want to tell you. It seems so. It's complicated everywhere, but Norway is they tight. Everything is open source. I can go in on the internet and go and see what the mayor in town earns. Businesses, you can go and see how businesses are performing, their financial. So they're very open with that. They don't miss. They miss nothing.
And very low levels of corruption.
Yeah, I think they've got low levels of corruption, but then it depends on where you look. In general, the people are very proud to pay tax. You get a lot back. Where it's kind of a status symbol, but I don't know where Norway exactly stands in the whole world. They've got beautiful fjords, but they still have permits in 2 or 3 of the fjords where they can dump chemicals. So there's some stuff happening. If you're gonna dig hard enough, you'll find it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's safe. It's too cold for criminals. Criminals.
They like warm weather. Although in Dubai they get their hands chopped off, so probably that's too hot for them. But no, I hear you. I think that makes a lot of sense. In terms of your creative journey, if we can call it that, because I saw your YouTube video about your scrap art. I just find that fascinating. When did that start?
Well, I've always done it since I was a child. I always pick something up and make something out of it. But I started in 2000. I was in Israel in 1999, and 2000 I decided I'm just going to follow this. Then I lived up the west coast, Zandfontein, and then everything happened. I met this Annalette who's got the property in Philadelphia. She was not using it. I managed to get the workshops, 2 big workshops next to her property, and at the other end of this property it was meant to be a hospital, but the house stood empty. And that was a lawyer or somebody in Blaubergstrand who owned it. And at that point, I started making props for Warner Brothers production and DreamWorks production for films, and for a German film as well. Built some props for them. And this lawyer who owns the house, you've got the 3 properties. You've got the house, and then on the let's part was the stables of the hospital, and then I had the workshops right next to that. He came to me and he said he was approached by a Bollywood company to use the house. They want to shoot a film, and here I'm involved in the film industry. And I said, well, he asked me if I could kind of be the project overseer, manager, whatever, make sure. So I asked him, well, when they're done with the house, can I maybe rent it? And he said, yeah, sure. So I used them to clean the house for me because the house was empty for many years. Big house. And in the end, because then I was still single with just me and my son, and they got a young family, a husband and a wife and 2 sons and a daughter. And I got them to share the house with me. That's a big house. Like I said, it was built as a hospital. It's a cop built with clay and straw. A really nice house. Yeah. So we lived there. When I met my present wife, she moved in with us after some time as well.
Wow, that's amazing. So maybe just for the listeners, and we'll obviously include some details, but exactly what do you do? What is the art that you do? Maybe you've got an.
I'm just a busy fool. No, I make I've got this passion to just when I find old things that's discarded, you know, to give it new life. And I can kind of, I'm a little bit crazy. I can look at a heap of scrap and then I can see pieces, parts of things, and then I'll collect it. It's a good thing the camera's facing this way because my workshops and stuff is that way. I've got so much stuff there, and I know where every piece is, that I've collected, and I've got a kind of an idea what I'm going to use it for. So I built sculptures from scrap metal, mainly when we lived in Port Isaac. It's a coastal town. Then I kind of lock into the theme there. I made a lot of crabs on that video that you saw there on BBC Automwatch. Crabs, fish, things like that. But a lot of times the piece I find dictate what I'm going to make. But of course, I can just make something. I was asked by another South African here in Norway to build him this big man with kind of disappears. You can't really see the head; it's just a piece, and then the hands and the feet are detailed. It's not my original idea; it's something he wanted me to make, and it's another South African artist who's made one. He saw it. She asked me if I can do it. So I do stuff like that. I do some blacksmithing. Oh, of course, I do clay. As well, and do wood sculpture, and I combine these things.
So it's not all when you say blacksmith, that's welding and putting things together, metal things. So you also
use a lot of blacksmithing technique and trying to manipulate in the metal, but then I do just normal blacksmithing as well.
That's absolutely fascinating. So what you're saying is when you see it, you can see some pieces of scrap metal. I think on that video I saw you used tools to make a sculpture. Old tools.
Tools. Yeah. Spanners. If you want to make a crab, spanners. We already got those. And the little legs. And sold lots of stuff. We were down at Falmouth. I think Falmouth is the second harbor where the Titanic, when it left, it went to Falmouth and then across. But anyway, we were there at the markets, people selling things and art-related things as well. I had my stall up there. The boys were still small. The youngest one, he would just take off. So he had a rope around his middle. So my wife got holding that he doesn't disappear. So I was there standing talking to people, and this one guy came and he spoke to me, and he wanted to buy a fish that I made from pig handles. So the ribs of the fish is these pig handles, and then the spade for the tail and the spade for the head. And he, of course, heard my accent. I'm from South Africa. We were talking about South Africa. He said, no, he's just going to figure out how he's going to get it home. He'll come back. He came back. He bought the fish. And my wife, at that point, got a chance to talk to me. And she said to me, do you know who that is? And I said to him, no, I don't know who that is. She said, no, that's a drummer of Queen.
No freaking way.
Queen has got a band. She said, no, man, this thing. Because I'm from I would always say I'm from Naboomspruit. Don't know much about these things, No, that was incredible. I mean, Henry Warren, he owns the Red Bull racing team. He bought a lot of stuff from me. It was really good. I mean, I did okay in South Africa, but in England, really well. It was good. It was fun.
And how does one price? I mean, it's not. I don't want to ask you your secret. Some suck.
Sometimes I don't like doing commission work. I really hate it. I cannot see what's in somebody else's head. If you want something, I'll make you something. You don't like it, it's fine. I don't ask deposits because that just causes problems. If I make something somebody doesn't like, it says good, fine, nice to meet you. I'll sell it somewhere else. Did I miss your question there again? What was it?
No. I'm saying, how do you price it? Because
the price is sometimes per hour. Sorry, I'll work on an amount per hour and kind of try and keep track. because we're artists, we're really bad business people. And otherwise, we just make stuff. I just make it up. I suck it on my thumb. So my wife is passing me notes and letters, and she wants me to show you the biggest axe in Norway.
Oh my word, that's a Norwegian thing. Oh wow, that is
and
absolutely amazing.
the foot is like that.
Wow, 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 wow. And did you do all that carving, etc.?
Yeah, did the whole axe
Oh,
and did all the carving.
so is that a Viking axe?
Yeah, it's a what they call a bearded axe.
Oh, that is absolutely. And is that for sale?
No.
Listen, but your wife's got to show her face now, because we're going to have people asking, so where's Martiens' wife? She's hiding and she's sending notes and passing things. So she really needs to just show her face for people who watch and listen.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Jan.
Hi. Yeah, nice to meet you.
And your name?
He like goes all over the place when he talks. So you have to try to keep
No,
up.
but that's fine. That's
Like
why
when-
I'm asking questions. But it's such an interesting journey. Thank you very much. And that art is just amazing, absolutely amazing.
He does a lot of clay as well, and yeah, anything. I burn a pot and throw it out, and it comes back as something else. So-
That is absolutely. I wish I had. I had some.
Just is,
Yeah.
So, well, kind of. That's the deal.
Okay, but you don't paint.
No. It's a strange thing. I can do a 3-dimensional sculpture, but I can't draw. I can draw a little bit 3-dimensional, but I won't praise myself. My brother. Well, we're probably going to talk about families and stuff because we're all over the world. And my one brother in America, he's Christian Bekker. He's my favorite artist. He's so good. I mean, he at some point he got Nelson Mandela signature twice on his paintings, and he made a signature for him as well.
Oh, that is absolutely fascinating. I
He's good.
should talk to him as well. But yeah, let's we'll get to that. So, Martiens, just last thing on the art. Do you see art as a job, or is it a hobby?
Okay, I've been diagnosed with narcolepsy, which is a sleep disorder. I was diagnosed here in Norway after I had sepsis in my back in 2016. But I kind of knew, something's wrong for years. But I thought everybody's got these problems, kind of thing. But it got a lot worse, 2016. But that's kind of where it came from. I always had this problem, where I was in the police, I couldn't stay awake to do my dockets. I stay awake when I'm investigating. I did a lot of. I don't know if you know about Vestkoppies Hospital, the asylum. When people escape there, Article 28 patients. When you committed a crime and they put you there to see if you compass matters. When they escaped, I had to go and find them, and I did the suicide investigation. Not really suicide, but it's gerechtelijk. I'll go and do the investigation. If I feel there's foul play, I'll hand it over to the old murder and robbery unit. So that was my work. But as soon as I sat down to start documenting, I would fall asleep while I'm writing and stuff. So that didn't work out so well. So after I resigned, I managed to study. I had to do 1 year over, but I kind of started to figure out there's something wrong, And when I was sick, with the sepsis, I said to my wife, "Now let's have a look at it." So I was then diagnosed in 2017. So it's kind of now my job. This is what I do.
Okay.
I do other work on the farms. So farmers will come to me to fix stuff as well. Help making firewood for friends of mine who's got a bakery, an old traditional bakery. They use about 40 cubic meters of wood in the summer season. So I make that word and do stuff like that. But mainly, yeah. We make a lot of jewelry. Sorry, Jan. We make, now we sit during winter, we sit and make a lot of jewelry from recycled copper and brass and things. And that we sell during summer.
Okay. Well, that is just absolutely fascinating. And do you do it at markets or?
Just about 5 kilometers from us down the road, there's a place called Mjønøy, and it's got that O in with this line through, because the Norwegian alphabet's got 3 extra letters, or 3 extra sounds. It's good friends of mine. I know them since we came in 2014. So I go and pitch. I've got 2 big army tents. I pitch it there. The whole place has got these old wooden buildings that is very traditional to Scandinavia. They call them stabur. They're actually like Lego houses, like our house here behind you can see this is logs, wood logs. So they use to build them, and they can take them apart, especially in winter, because then they can drag them across the lakes, which is now iced over. So they kind of moved after the animals. So that place has got these houses, which is since 1968, I think, is all national treasures. So you have to look after them. And they've got a traditional bakery there. They go 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, they pack the whole oven inside full of wood, and then they lit it, and then they just scrape the ash out, and they bake the whole day in that oven.
Martiens, let's just get back to the journey, and you were talking about family. So if you think back, what's been kind of the most difficult part of this whole journey? Is it family and missing family?
Yes, it's friends and family, family and friends, which way you want to say it. I went over to the US earlier this year to go and see my brother and his children. I couldn't see the third one. He's got 3 children. I couldn't meet up with the third one. But my brother, we tried to work out. I thought it was 30 years that I've seen him last. And it is just, his children were very close to me. They spent a lot of time with me. And then I saw, especially the oldest son. I saw him in 2009. And now it's 16 years later. He's 40 years old. And I went to to where he lives, a little town called Tehachapi in California, up the mountains near Bakersfield. And he'll show me places, he's done this here and he's done that there. And I felt like, I wasn't there. I was not part of his life. My younger brother's in New Zealand. He works presently in Australia. His oldest son is a policeman in Australia now, 32 maybe. I saw him last when he was 4 or 5 years old. They've got another son. I haven't met him. No, that's the part. I've got families in South Africa. My mom is still there. My sister and her husband, he's a beef farmer on Cressy, close to Naboomspruit, up in the north. I've been there now twice, but I also haven't seen them before I went back. It was also 16, 17 years that we haven't seen each other.
I think, somebody yesterday said there's 2 things in immigration. One is the cost of immigration, and the other one is the price of immigration. And I think this, missing family, being away from family and loved ones, I think, I guess that's the price we pay, for a better life, for safety, for whatever reasons we decide to leave. But I'm the same. My kids live in America. My grandchildren are now 14 and 12. And, they've just grown away from us because we just don't see enough of them. They were here in November, but ultimately they've become strangers. And that's sad, And sometimes I get really the murin when I think about it, that we couldn't stay in South Africa, because in any normal society, you should be able to live in your country.
Some of the, of course, friends that stayed behind, to be honest, out of the friends I still have there, most of them has done well. Has done fairly well, So we had a choice, you could stay. It's not the ray of blay. I don't mind. I've got no problem with those that stayed. I've got no problem with those that left. It's always been like that. I mean, my ancestors, my Bekker ancestor, he his grave was in Robben Island. We went there, and just a couple of years after they started, the Dutch went there. So people have always been moving. We've always, but it's. Can you imagine in those days? You get on a ship and you leave, and you don't even hear. Now we can at least phone people and we can do WhatsApp calls and stuff. But still, yes, no, it's not. That's the one thing that catches us a lot.
Okay.
Just not seeing the people.
I think that's a sad part of immigration. I think the worst part is when something goes wrong. It's hard enough when things are going well, but when parents get sick or children get sick and you can't, it's not just a matter of hopping on a plane. I always say when you look at the people in Portugal that come from the UK, they go home for a weekend. It's not like immigration for them. For us, it's a much bigger journey. So yeah, I think that's unfortunately the way it is, right? If you think about
our main objectives was for our sons to give them a better chance, because we saw. My grandmother was Stella van Niekerk. I call her Siner van Niekerk. She said to me, "You must go and study. You must get a degree, because this country won't be always like the way it is." And she was right, in many ways. So we left for our sons for better opportunities, but then I took them away from their family, their cousins.
same here.
Yeah.
But if you think back, would you do it again?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Difficult one. I don't know.
If you look at them where they are today, do you think it was the right decision?
No, absolutely. The youngest one, he's done what you'd probably call in English a carpenter, but they build houses out of wood. Yeah, so he's in construction. Loves it. Loves every moment of it. He's big into the Viking thing. They do this what they call LARPing, a live action replay, and he's got this whole Viking thing that he dresses up in. The older one, he's studying in Oslo. He has thanked us for taking him out of the UK, because some of his friends stayed behind, has not gone down the right roads. So yes, once told me, he said, "Thank you very much for taking me away, out of there." So you don't know. You don't know. You don't know.
But you've got to make the decision with the facts that you have, and you can't look over your shoulder. What do you think, other than family, what have you lost by leaving South Africa?
Yeah, my heart is in South Africa. But my mind is not there anymore. In terms of, I just cannot. I've been there. I've been back 3 times now, and I just see how everything is falling apart. I just cannot align myself with that. I mean, I think I don't know. I think I probably would have been in jail or something, because I just can't see how. I was being in the police force. It was something I really loved the work, and to see what has happened now. A friend of mine is. We've been friends since standard 5. He's gone on an early pension now. He was in forensics. He was actually a police photographer, and he did most of the farm killings in the beginning. And it traumatized him, so he went over to something else in forensics. And he just says he's so glad he got this early pension. He said it is. He said he cannot even explain it. He said it is completely. If it's not corrupt, it's just complete incompetence. He says it's unbelievable. But then again, others has done well. So maybe, I don't know. It's a difficult one.
No, look, it's. But I mean, on that note, can you see yourself going back?
Well, now that we are empty nesters, we kind of thought about it. My brother-in-law, Jan Steenkamp, he's quite a big beef farmer. He's got something like 4,000 beehives, if I now remember correctly. Does a lot of pollination and stuff. That's the big work. He grew up on a farm. He speaks Soot and Shangaan fluently. They went for a year to New Zealand. They came back with a disabled son, and the son couldn't get a permanent residence. So he came back, went back to South Africa. I will go back, and I have been. The times we went back, we went to them, and I actually went there to help them secure the farmhouse because I can weld, and to build metal boxes over the windows and gates in the hallways, and So if we should go back, I don't know. My wife, I don't think she's so. We will probably have to go back because his son is he's got Angelman syndrome, so he needs 24-hour people with him. And if something happens to them, I'll have to go back. I'll have to go and look after him.
Wow, that is, sure, that is unbelievable. Yeah, Martiens, and getting to the end, just if somebody came to you now today, say a family member or a cousin or a youngster who's just finishing school in South Africa, what advice would you give him?
Well, figure out how business work. Figure out how to make money. Passive income. figure out this tax system. It's like that's what I'm telling my sons because. Yes, my father passed away. My mother remarried, but he wasn't a father as such. Establish yourself. Just get your, get a property. Get yourself just established so that you've got something. Not that it's everything, but I've told them also. The only thing is just paying taxes and debt and change. That's the only things we are certain of. So things might change. So, but for now, they both speak Norwegian. They can go to Sweden. The Afrikaans, they understand Afrikaans because I kept on speaking Afrikaans to them. They try and speak a little bit, so they can, go to countries, maybe Netherlands. Not that they should, but I think what we've done is we gave them a much bigger scope. They've got family in America. They can go there, at least.
And how do they see themselves? Do they see themselves as South African or Norwegian?
The oldest one is a little bit in between British and Norwegian because he was born in Oxford. The youngest one sees himself as South African, as Norwegian. But strangely enough, people pick up, although he speaks Norwegian really well, they still pick up something and will ask you, but where are you from? And then he'll say, no, South Africa. But, he left there basically 3 years old, 3.5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's been back. He's been back with me to go and meet family.
Last question: if you would have to advise somebody about starting over in a new country, what would your advice be?
Figure out how the tax system work.
Seems like that tax is.
But it is. It's terrible. It's like it's as if they want to trick you.
Yeah.
Because honestly, and there are people that just figured it out, and they're doing well. I don't mind paying taxes, pay what's due, but figure it out, and then people, you must don't put your expectations too high, like everything looks so rosy, the grass is greener on the other side. You know why? Because there's more shit there. So just be open-minded. That problems is everywhere, but yes, you in Portugal. I mean, Portugal is a fairly safe country.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's sunshine. We came here because we like. It's very similar to Cape Town, so we don't like the.
I'm sitting here looking at the snow. It doesn't want to melt.
Oh wow! No, it's nice and warm now, so we like when summer comes. So no, it's very good.
Sorry, back to your question. You cannot. The one thing that I regret a lot is, of course, this gap and in your relationships with family. But you cannot. You have to make that choice. You know, you don't have to cut them off. Of course, nowadays we can keep really good contact, but you're not there. You know, you're not there.
Yeah. It's like being at birthdays and being at big events and so on. It's not always possible. And that's what you miss out on and what they miss out on with their cousins and family. So that's unfortunately one of the things about immigrating.
My sister
But-
and I, we speak every morning, during the day, every night. Leave messages through WhatsApp, and I want to know that they're safe. But if something happens to them, I'm not there. It's going to take me 3-4 days to get there.
And that's dreadful. Dreadful.
Yeah.
Martiens, thank you so much, man. Phew. I'll put on the show notes where people can get information. You've got a website, haven't you?
Somewhere. I put stuff under my name on, I think I put it on Instagram, but I see it goes everywhere. I was banned off Facebook at some point, but I've got a page again, and I see if I put something on Instagram, it goes there as well.
Okay.
So people can find me under this is my name, MJ Bekker or Martiens Bekker.
Martiens Bekker. Awesome. I will do that, and I'm going to put that link to that YouTube video you did on BBC on the show notes as well, so people can see it. Awesome, man. Thank you so much for sharing. Jeepers, that's an interesting journey. I'm so glad we connected. Thank you so much.
No, thank you, yeah.
Thank you. Before we wrap up, if documents are on your to-do list, Apostille handles everything and will courier it directly to you. I've linked Apostille in the description below. Well worth a look at if documents are on your list. Now, listeners, if this episode resonated with you, please consider sharing it with someone who might enjoy it, the conversation. You can find more episodes of The Relocated South African on your favorite podcast platform, or visit our website, therelocatedSouthAfrican.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.
This episode is brought to you by Sable International, building futures beyond borders.